Shades here, and welcome to the kitchen table with Stella Bellafontay, and this is episode 1. Now, this is going to be a little different than what you're used to with my former podcast. If you are used to my former podcast, Tasty Topics, you can look that up, but that's not that. This ain't that. This is, again, the kitchen table with Stella Bellafontay, and this is episode 1. And today's word, the word of the week, is heated. And why am I heated? Well, I'm heated because I do refer to myself as a 304 auntie, and lately I have been conducting myself like a 304 auntie. I'm becoming very forgetful. I'm losing things. 3 weeks ago, I lost my driver's license and my debit card, my credit card. I didn't lose my wallet, just lose cards, losing them. Where they at? One will never know. Then I had an appointment to replenish those things yesterday. I had to stay home because Auntie Stella couldn't find her car keys. I stayed at home a whole night and a day, tearing my whole house up, looking for a set of keys that I actually found today. That's real auntie energy. Why am I misplacing everything? Why is everything getting lost? I'm thinking that maybe this is why my chat GPT, without prompt, has started calling me Auntie Stella. It's not a joke. I am Auntie Stella to my chat GPT. I mentioned one thing about my age to chat GPT, and I've been auntie ever since. What's going on with that? I'd like to talk about how I've been feeling physically. Another thing that gets to me, that makes me feel heated, is as fine as I am and as good as I look, I don't always feel good inside. I'm getting a lot of the aches and pains that women my age get. My age, I'm over 40. I am way over 40. I'm closer to 50 than I am 40. And again, as you know, even though my edges are in place and my skin may glow, my lips are shiny, I'm falling apart. I feel like I got to do things that I didn't have to do 10 years back in order to stay in shape. I definitely need to gym more. I'm looking up supplements that I've never thought of in my life, like collagen. Got to find out stuff about your estrogen levels now the older you get. What's the thing that's going on with the hair growth? What is it, PCOS? I'm worried about that. I feel like I have to walk outside with my tweezers because the hairs on my chin grow every couple of hours. I just feel a little fuzzy and furry and broken up. My sciatic nerve, that's when your back and your neck and your legs, you feel like snap, crackle, pop, thunder and lightning all inside. And yeah, I'm going through that. And as far as my mentals, mentally, it's a lot of shit going on in the world. You know, you want to have fun and you want to party, and then you feel guilty for it because, there's a war going on. We got a wild ass the political system, the agenda is wild, and it's like, can I still enjoy myself with all of that going on? Is that selfish of me? So, mentally, that can get to me. And then even though I appreciate my job, I don't love it. I would love to meet some rich millionaire, billionaire to come through and want to spinach on Auntie Stella. It ain't happened yet. And I don't play numbers, so I ain't hit big. So, I don't gamble, but maybe I should start. So yeah, what's going on with me mentally and physically. Well, since you're at my table, one thing that we are gonna still always focus on are tasty topics. And it'll be more focused on the tasty topics of today. What's going on in the world? Look, what's everyone mad about today? What's everybody happy about today? What's everyone gossiping about right now in the world? And I'd like to talk about the viral moments, love, dating, whatever's controversial. Like, yep, let me cook. Let's go. That's what we'll talk about at my table. This is episode 1, and I gotta be honest, I feel like I'm being a little stiff. I feel like I'm becoming Stella that. You ever seen that episode of Recess? How many of you millennials and Gen X's can remember episode where one of the kids in Recess, he can only sing in the shower? I feel like that's the Stella I'm becoming. When I'm off camera, I'm so full of life and I'm flowing. But in front of this camera, I'm like robotic Stella. I'm AI Stella today. It's not AI, it's really me. So yeah, let me loosen up, relax, relate, release. And I'm here to talk about the topics. Let's go. So, if you all do not know, I'm here to let you know that I am a New York City girl, born and raised in Brooklyn, but honestly, Coney Island. is a section of Brooklyn that may as well be as far away as Atlantic City. You ask anybody from Brooklyn where they're from, they'll usually tell you Brooklyn. Residents of Coney Island will say, I'm from Coney Island. And this past 4th of July weekend in Coney Island, there was a mass shooting where 8 people were shot, allegedly just opened fire. Someone opened fire at a barbecue during the 4th of July barbecue, and they fled on foot, no suspects. And the first thing that people do is they want to blame our mayor. Everything is politics. Well, what's Mayor Mom Donnie gonna do? What can he do? I feel like honestly, it starts at home. Yes, the police officers are here to protect and serve. I feel like the most that our mayor can do is keep watch and come out and make a speech about it after it all happens. The bigger question is, what the fuck is going on inside of these households? Because what we're finding out with a lot of these shootings, especially these wild mass shootings and open fire, when you do catch the suspect, when they are apprehended, they're usually very young. I would say the past few really large shooting incidents in Brooklyn, it was by somebody that was possibly high school age, definitely in their 20s or under 25 years old. And I just don't understand what's going on. And it's always said that it's gang related. What gangs are these? Like, what's the point and purpose of these gangs, especially in Coney Island? Who remembers the movie The Warriors? Remember The Warriors? That's where, they met up in Coney Island to have this big gang fight. Remember Warriors come out and play? Like, wh- why are we doing that in 2026? But again, this was an open shooting. They shot up a barbecue. So was there one gang member that was being aimed at? And not saying that anybody should be hurt out here or that gun violence is okay, because it's not, but why can't they ever find the person that they were looking for? I'm starting to think that whoever they were aiming at, they weren't one of the 8 people that got hit. I'm sure that the person that they were aiming for got away, they got off, they fled, and they ain't gonna snitch. Come on, Coney Island. If you know who did that, tell. Because people could have lost lives. If I'm not mistaken, one or two of the people that were hit may have been children. Speak up. Because that no snitch, no tell culture that we live in, it's out of hand. There's a time and a place to mind your business. And right now, it's not the time and the place. Neither is it the time or the place to blame Mayor Mom Donnie for what's going on. Again, what can he do? Put more police officers on the street? Because now we live in a situation where these kids are so bold, they'll have shootouts where the cops have to hit the ground. I had an experience a few summers ago where my car got shot up because there was a block that I had it parked on. I thought it was safe because it was a block with one of those big police towers and all the cops were standing outside. I heard that some young kids started shooting at each other after a basketball game. They got into a beef after the game, and that all the cops that were standing outside hit the ground. So what do you want to do? Nobody wants to die. You know, nobody's bulletproof. So to blame the mayor and ask if he's doing enough to protect New York City, my question is, what more can he do to protect New York City? How about parents? Let's protect New York City from your children, your grandchildren, your nephews, even your nieces. You got young ladies just out here acting wild, and allegedly, according to the streets and to music, like Young Miami. Who's got a pretty wild song out right now, spin that. Auntie Stella was grooving to that. Spin that shit. But I heard that lately people have been taking a deep dive into her lyrics in a way that I feel is extremely unwarranted and unnecessary. She's talking about ballers and popping tags and I guess stealing, scammers. And it's being said that she's singing the praises of these types of people. And that because of Young Miami and her controversial lyrics, music is going down. You know, this is the society that we live in. All of these young people being influenced by these lyrics. And because of Young Miami, you have a mother that got caught shoplifting. And because of Young Miami, her child was shot after she was arrested or during the arrest for shoplifting because of Young Miami. According to India.Arie, young women do not respect themselves anymore. and that this is a lifestyle that people are living because of Young Miami. Do you see how ridiculous that sounds? People have been singing and rapping about controversial shit. I would say since the blues era, back in the days, all the way, if you were fortunate enough to have great grandparents and grandparents that were here in the late 1900s, the early 20th century, well, the mid 20th century, they been singing about shit like this. There was a song by a woman named Peggy Lee back in the days where she said, "Hey, big spender, won't you spend a little time with me?" When she said big spender, what you think that woman was talking about? She wasn't talking about the paper boy, the farmhand. No, she was talking about all these hustlers and gamblers from all the way back then, the bootleggers. How do you think they got rich? All the same such shit that Young Miami is talking about in her music. What I don't understand, and like I was saying to a friend, the optics on this is really bad. I'm starting to think that they're coming down on her so hard because of who she was just associated with. Before Sean Diddy Combs was arrested and jailed for the crimes that he's in jail for now, she was connected to him. He was her boyfriend. They were openly loving and dating each other. And she was openly loving and dating this man while we were also openly, lovingly into Sean Combs. Once his crimes were revealed, it's like we're going to take out, we're using, okay, there was a saying that I heard back in the days from Caribbean people: don't use their fat to fry me. So we are using the grease, fam, look, the baby oil that he's frying in, and we're splashing her with it. And I don't think she deserves it. Wasn't it just a few summers ago that women was jamming to a song about their wet ass pussies? Yeah, wow. This is nobody wanted to boycott. Nobody said that this WAP is the reason why young girls are just out here just living wrong and all of this other shit. And then talking about stealing. People been bragging about stealing, shooting, sex in rap since the beginning of rap. I don't understand. I just feel like they're just using Young Miami. She is the whipping girl right now. And again, like I said, I don't like the optics, and I am taking of her. I'm the auntie for her. That's my niece, and I don't like the way y'all talk about her. How do I feel about it? Leave her alone. Let her sing. Let her rap. If she gets nominated for a Grammy, let her. And I also feel like the India.Aries of the world, a lot of that is a little jealousy stank on it. Because I feel like even back in the days, I was labeled fast. When I was in high school, they could have considered me a fast girl. And all of the good girls and the naturalistas and all of that weren't raised in not that I was raised in a fast lifestyle, but I was outside. And I feel like a lot of the young women who weren't outside, they envied the ones who were. So you grew up to be women who claim to care about life and claim to care about what's going on with these young women. But I feel like deep down, you wish somebody would pull up on you and spend that. Let you wild out in the store. Take you to the instant shop and let you get $1,000 worth of stuff on a dime. And it's not happening. And you're mad because it is happening for the young Miamis of the world. So you're going to put your pain on her and make her look like what she's doing is wrong. Like I said, I'm her auntie. That's my niece. Leave her alone. Okay, now we're going to get really deep. Um, when we talk about the subject matter of Nolan Wells was a young black boy. I'm not going to call him a man because I feel when you call our children men, it takes a lot of the pressure off of what actually happened to him. He was found dead. His body was found somewhere, maybe in one of these Mississippi rivers, after hanging out with a group of white friends. And allegedly, the town that he was found in Mississippi, everyone's absolutely devastated. But I want to understand what happened. Too many instances, especially in the South and places like Mississippi, where our black children come up missing, dead, parts missing, parts and pieces scattered all over the place. And all that can be said is that the death was accidental. Some of these deaths have even been listed as suicide. But for now, it's being told that he was with a group of friends where he was the only black friend. It was a group of whites. And that nobody knows what happened. They don't remember. It just brought me back to the movie Get Out. What do you mean nobody remembers? Like, what's really happening here? Do they not have the interrogation rooms like back in the days where you sitting under a bright light with no food and no cigarettes until you can remember what happened? Because why is this 18-year-old boy dead while all the rest of his friends are all right? Let's go backwards in steps. When did he separate from you? When did you see him last? What was his demeanor? What were the last words that he said to you all? I don't remember. And I feel like, again, this is going to be another case. I pray that it's not this way, but I feel like this is going to be a case where somebody got away with murder because I do not believe that this young man's death was accidental. I don't. I believe that there was foul play, serious foul play, and I pray that the police department in Mississippi does everything that they need to do to find out what really happened to this young man. But no, I don't believe that Nolan Wells' death was accidental, and I do not believe that his friends have no idea what happened. Rest in peace to Nolan Wells, and I really pray that we all get answers. Okay. It's time for Letters to Stella, where I'll lend an ear to your mess with relationships, whether it be with your man, your boss, or yourself. You can send a DM to Stella Bellafontay on social media for me to lend an ear and give advice at the kitchen table. And I'm just going to let you know, you can ask about me. I don't give bad advice. And I also don't give advice that I don't take myself. Well, 90% of the time, I take my own advice. But I never give bad advice. Even if I don't take it, I'm going to tell you what's good. So it starts off, hi, Auntie. I am a Black American in my mid-20s dating a Haitian man, ooh, South I say, in his early 30s. I need to know if we just have cultural differences or I should start packing my bags now. This man has a steady job for good things, and it seems he's well compensated. Yet he lives in a small apartment with his mother, his sister, and his nephew. Rent is high, so maybe I should give him some grace. However, I feel that he and his mom have inappropriate boundaries with each other. Oh, goodness, inappropriate. Here we go. An example is that we were in his room naked. You in the house with the man and naked and the mama home? Woo. Naked, and his mom burst through the door to speak with him. Accidents happen. If she's bursting through the door, that wasn't an accident. However, instead of asking his mom to wait and saying that we were indecent, he answered his mother's question after she burst through the door. He answered a question, and they had a conversation in front of me while I was naked. When she left, I told him that I was uncomfortable. He told me that I was being weird because his mom and I have the same parts. She does his laundry, she cooks all his meals, she makes his snacks, and she delivers the food to him on a rigid time schedule. I feel like I'm getting to know a child and not a man. And there's no way to see if he's a fit partner as long as he's living with his mother. I expressed this to him, and that's when he told me that he's never moving away from his mother. And if we were to ever get serious, I would move into his tiny room and be forced to also live with his mother. He insists that this is a regular thing in Haitian households, and none of this seems normal to me. Love, Ashley. I'm gonna let you know, dear Ashley from Auntie, it ain't normal. It is not a normal thing in American households. But I will tell you that for a lot of Caribbean households, having a mother who is invasive and intrusive is a normal thing. So I'm letting you know from here today, you in your early 20s, dealing with a Haitian man in his 30s who has a mother who comes kicking down the door and bringing food while you laying there naked, that's not going to stop. This is your life. This will continue for life. And also be prepared to be the next mother because he is going to leave you in that tiny room when he's not home, when he's at work, it's your day off. You're going to be expected to stay in there and possibly help mama when it's time for her to go to the other rooms, to the other people in the house and cook and clean and do the laundry and change their sheets. Do you want that? Because unless you want that, look, is the dick that good? Because I can imagine, a lot of these men, these Caribbean men, the sex is amazing. How amazing is it? And then my biggest question is, okay, let's just say that he does live with mom forever and the rest of the family. Why do they have to dwell in this tiny apartment? Ain't nobody trying to move on up? Can't put your money together and buy one of these two-family brick houses in Canarsie or Flatbush like a lot of my people from the Caribbean do. I think my biggest problem is with the tiny room. But I mean, if you don't mind a lifetime of great sex and the food being brought to you, and then another question, is she only bringing food to him and doing these things for him? I don't know. But again, this is your life. So if you can handle that, stick with it. But if you know that you don't want to be subservient and a maid of sorts in a relationship, pack your bags and go. I want to know why you didn't pack your bags and go when it happened. Like after mama left, I wish you would have told more. Like, did you turn back over? Did you pull the covers over your head and get it going again? And did you put your clothes on and say, you know what, I am out of here, Javier, Pierre, I don't know, whatever his name is. Like, did you leave? I don't know. But yeah, this is your life. So get ready, Ashley. Hey, and let me know. Send me another letter. I got more answers for you because I still got questions. Love, Stella. So send all your questions. And if you don't want me to, I can say your name. If you want to remain anonymous, send all of your questions to Stella. Just DM me. Let me know, like whatever. There's nothing off limits. We can talk about any, unless you confess into a crime. Because if you confess into any type of crime, I don't want to know about it. Because I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Like, I'm not a psychologist or whatever. But I think in that instance, I might have to tell on you. So if you committed some kind of crime that you can get in trouble for, don't tell me. But anything regarding your relationships, your family, your job, your girlfriend, your women that you hate, the men that you hate, your relatives you can't stand, send it to Stella. And I can advise you because I've been through some things in my 40 something years on this earth. Yeah, good, bad, and ugly. So, again, the word of the day is heated. You know what else I'm heated about? No, you don't know. So, I'm going to tell you. Allegedly, we're in this Mercury retrograde. So, the word on Mercury retrograde, according to astrology, is that blasts from the past will come back to haunt you. All of your exes will come back up to you, missing that good stuff. Well, ain't nobody from my past coming up to me, meeting, looking for me for my good stuff. You know what I'm encountering? A lot of YNs. I'm in my 40s. And I would say the past few men who have tried to really get at me, boldly, bravely approach me to date, were very, very young. Men who were at least 15 years younger than me, sometimes 20 years. For example, got a young man who very boldly jumped into my DM out of nowhere. He's watching my stories. My page is open. He's watching my stories, and I get a message. Hey, I'm like, hey, who are you? Do I know you? No, my name is so and so. You're very beautiful. I was watching you. I'd like to know if I could take you out on a date. I said, I don't know you. How old are you? He goes, I'm 24. I responded right away. This is all in the DM. It goes down in the DM. So listen, you're very young. I can't do it. Take care. He sends me a message where he sat Auntie Stella down. He goes, well, how big of an age gap are we talking? Because I am 25. I'm 25 years old. I have my own houses, my own cars. I've been working for General Motors since I was 18 years old. I've done a lot in my 24 years on this earth. So again, what type of age gap are we talking? I just sent back a reply that said, oh my, with a oh my emoji. Because I got men my age who aren't that bold and that brave. And he laid it right out in front. And I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know what to do with a 24-year-old. Even though I know that 24 is grown, and there is a double standard with men and women. Men my age date young women all the time. It's been going on since the beginning of time. But Auntie Stella, 304 Stella, as much as I claim to be this 304 out there, Auntie, I have no idea what to do with a man that young who has so much going on for himself. I just can't imagine that maybe I might get with this young man and like him. And maybe I'll be the crash out auntie over somebody who's young enough to be my child. So, I mean, what do you all think? To all of my viewers, do you think that 304 Auntie Stella should give these young men a chance? Because I have been denying men in their 20s left and right on my birthday. I was out having a good time. I had a moo party. That's what the aunties do. Me and all my girls in our moo. I had a young man walk up to me while I was in the mirror, staring at myself, taking selfies, and put his arm around me. I looked around and I said, get away from me, YN, because I knew he was young on sight. He looked me in my eye and said, first of all, I'm not a YN. Apparently, there's levels. He said, I'm 26 years old, and YNs are 22 and under. I said, well, listen, today is my 40th birthday. To me, at 26, you're a YN. I didn't give him my number. He was fine as fuck, too. But I was afraid. Again, Auntie Stella has no idea what to do with a man in his 20s. I'm lost. I guess I ain't the 304 auntie I thought I was. Now, if you'd have caught me about 10 years back, yes, because I have dated younger. But I had a 10-year cutoff. I thought I had a 10-year cutoff. Maybe I don't. You tell me. And this is Stella with a side dish for you all. I want to let everyone who's watching me know that this right here, all of this cooking and serving that I'm doing, it's not easy. Now, if you notice, this is episode 1 and things were kind of shaky because I got cameras in front of me. I'm on this mic and I got so much that I want to say. You know, I'm not on my phone. This is real. And I'm trying to please all of the people. You know, I want to serve it up and I want you to listen. Think about your favorite show. Like Martin, for instance, A Living Single. If you look back to the very first episodes, the cast was kind of shaky. It's like they were trying to feel each other out. They didn't know who they were yet. And then after about 2 or 3 episodes, you know, they got their win. Everybody got their feet wet. And it's like, all right, I got this. And you knew your characters. You knew who they were. You knew their vibes. So I just want you all to stick around because I promise you, Stella's vibe. That's all I needed to say. Side dish for me. Love Stella. And I'm going to give you the reason for my shades. I feel like this is my cover. Like I can be who I am, but behind the shades, you know, like my hater blockers. Because as I was coming up, I will say I did have a lot of haters. Not haters regarding how fine I am, because I am fine, how sexy or how beautiful. But there's just a lot of people who just did not believe in me. It just felt like, oh, here she go. Always yapping, always got something to say. Stella thinks she knows everything. I don't know everything, but I know enough. And I have opinions. I have a lot to say. And again, it's going to be about the good, the bad, and possibly ugly. And I'm going to talk about it. And I'm going to talk about it in every episode, in my kitchen, at my table. I'd like you to pull up, have a seat, and enjoy. Love, Stella.